Hey, everyone. My name is Tanae Costley, and welcome to another episode of Real Talk Business and Motivation. I'm super excited because, of course, tonight I'm bringing you another special guest. His name is Paul. He is a content creator, a gamer, and an Army vet. So I'm super excited to have him. His following has increased substantially within the past few months. So I'm just going to bring him on the screen to introduce himself and tell you guys a little bit more about his background. Hey, Paul.
Hey,
How you doing tonight?
I'm doing well, and yourself?
I am doing pretty good. So let's get into it. I know everyone who is watching or who will be catching the replay would like to know more about who you are.
Well, my name is Paul. I joined the Army straight out of high school. Um, did that for 4.5 years. I tell people it's the best decision I ever made. It was an experience. I love it. It pretty much made me who I am today, the kind of person that I am. I have a wonderful wife that I've been married to for 4 years, going on 5 years in December. We have a 7-year-old daughter that is acting like she's probably like 18 most of the time, but wouldn't trade her for the world. I just got into this social media thing maybe a few months ago. I always told my wife that this is probably what I'm going to end up doing. Just wait, like for like the last couple years, and then my wife and sister introduced me into this Facebook Reels situation, and I started posting it around maybe Thanksgiving. And December, I got the invitation. Like my followings grew from to just a few hundred to tens, almost like 10, 15,000. I got the invitation to the Reels program, and ever since I've joined, it blew up. I'm literally maybe like 300 followers away from reaching 100K, and I didn't take it seriously till like maybe mid-December. And so to see in the last 3.5 months, 4 months, to see where I started to where I'm at now it's mind blowing, and
Yeah.
it's fun. It's a lot of work, but it's worth it. It's fun. I have fun. I get to interact with some crazy people and some interesting people. I get to meet new people every day. It's something different. It's never the same every day. And so I think that's like what's the self motivating thing that keeps me going outside of, that I get to do this with my wife and my daughter, because they get to be included in this. And so it's been a roller coaster, but it's been an eventful roller coaster, to say the least.
Awesome. And first off, I just want to say congratulations because in order to build your following so quickly, we're talking about under 300 followers, right? Back in
Yes,
December.
I had
To
256.
you said 256?
256 from start to now. I have basically 100,000 followers.
Woo! You hear that, guys? So if you're just tuning in, Paul right here is a content creator who has been able to build his following from 256 followers back in December up to almost 100,000 followers now. So if you're doing the math, like I'm doing the math right now, that's only a few months. So kudos to you. A
Thank
lot
you.
of people don't trust the process. They quit or they give up before they even reach a level that you have reached right now. So that is absolutely commendable.
Thank you.
And I just want to say, well, first of all, you said it's a lot of work. It's a lot
Yeah.
of work. So how many times a day are you posting? How many times a week? What does that look like?
So in the beginning, I was posting a lot, which is what I thought was the ideal thing. I was like, I don't want to oversaturate my stuff just because I don't want to make it seem like I'm just doing in abundance. Now, looking into it, I post as often as I can. I would say maybe 2, 3 times a day, maybe 5-6 times a week, but I'm constantly engaging because I've learned that yes, the reels is important because that's what's, the point of the program. But I also want to engage not just on reels, but on my posts that I post or things that I share. Because at the end of the day, if I don't have a following, my reels aren't going to do anything. They're not going to get shared. They're not going to get viewed. They're not going to get engagements. And which at the end of the day, that's what we're looking for as content creators. We want that engagement. We want to be able to continue to bring people to your page or to your brand or whatever it is that you're interacting with. So I've learned that reels are important. Don't get me wrong. However, I've learned that it's also other things that you have to include as a content creator. Interacting is key. If you don't interact with your audience, it just becomes real stale, and then you lose people after a while.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. And just to recap, what is that number again as far as posting
I
daily?
me personally, I would post about 2 to 3 times a day, and if you're not somebody that could do it daily, I would say between 5 to 6 times a week
Five
at
to
a
six times
minimum,
a week. So
and
hold
that's
on.
just me.
5 to 6 times a week. Now this seems reasonable. This seems realistic because there's
Yes,
a lot of people who are like serial posting, not serial posting because I'd say the more you post, the more opportunity that you give yourself to increase your bonuses and increase your engagement.
absolutely.
But
Because
it is so interesting that you have been able to build a consistent following so quickly and not serial posting.
it I think as funny as this sounds, it not being a retired military man and being able to stay at home, it allows me to create more because I'm able to see things. Because I take a lot of I stitch a lot on TikTok. I duet a lot, and so and by doing that, it still creates ideas in your mind to be like, okay, they did this, but let me add this to that to make it just a little different. And then on top of that, with my wife, she's probably one of the main reasons why I've kind of blown up because she sings a lot, and so she's a very good singer in my eyes. I'm like, to me, and she long story short, she doesn't like to be on social media a lot with her singing per se,
Mhm.
and I had to nudge her. I was like, babe, this is gonna work. I promise you, this is gonna work. And um, the first video we posted within 2 to 3 weeks, it blew up to 230,000 views within like a week or two, and the comments were like overwhelming, and it got her to the point where it's like, okay, this this might work. And so
Okay. All
she
right.
she slowly started creeping that door open, and it's like after a while it just became okay. You seem to know what you're doing. It's like, listen, babe, I know what the crowd wants. I know what the audience wants. You have a beautiful soul. You sing from the heart. It's not like just like some crazy runs
A
and
natural God-given gift, pretty much,
yes,
right? Okay.
right. And so it's blown up. She's blown up. It's been a joy to see her confidence grow, to see other people see and comment the way that I've seen her since I've known her, even before we got together. She was a monster. She was a beast to me. I was her number one fan, and I'm still her number one fan. Can't nobody take that spot from me.
That's how it's
Uh,
supposed to be, right? That's how
and
it's supposed to be.
so having her not only on my side, supporting me when I started this, but now to actually be a part of what I'm doing to help build this brand and be a dynasty together for our child and our future children. I'm like, you can't ask for a better business partner than your wife or your spouse, husband. I'm like, what better support system can you really have?
Awesome, awesome. So just to clarify, you guys are doing a lot of reels together in some type
Hmm.
of way. Both of you guys are behind the camera.
In one way, or shape, or another.
Okay, I definitely should have had her join us today, but
She's at rehearsal, so she would have been here.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's super awesome. And I always think, if you are a couple and you are able to make money together, then that's just a benefit. That's a plus, a bonus. So
No
I
pun
do think
intended.
that is super awesome that you guys can like piggyback off of each other's strengths and keep each other motivated.
Absolutely.
But since I have you here today, I do want to ask you specifically, how do you stay motivated?
Um,
Outside of your wife, how do you stay motivated? Because I know that's like your driving force.
uh, my biggest motivation outside of my wife, outside of my daughter, is uh, I like this. This is fun for me. So I've always been told that if you're having fun doing something, it's not a job. So I
Yes.
don't see this as a job. I'm having fun creating, making people smile, making people laugh, having genuine conversation with people, and it's just it feels good inside to see people smile and laugh and I don't know. It's just I'm my own self motivation, but the following it helps me want to keep going because it's like I can't let them down. These are my peoples now. I'm like I'm here now. I can't just stop.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. Now, are you receiving like a lot of DMs since your following has increased? Are you receiving like personal messages?
Yeah, and uh he it's crazy to see how many people reach out to you, especially even like people reach out for my wife and be like, hey, can you talk to your wife to see if my wife's right there, she just joined the live. It's
Awesome.
uh,
Hey.
uh they be asking her to come sing at weddings and special events. So it's weird that by doing this, the doors that it opens for other avenues, not just just in bonus reels. So it's like it's
It's
a mind
crazy.
blowing.
And I just want to say, I don't think people understand like the power of social media. It is crucial to maximize your platforms in order to leverage it. Because once you are able to, get that content out there, whether you are showing a natural God given talent, like your wife is singing, or
Right,
whether you are doing funny stuff behind the camera, all of that is putting your brand out there or putting your business out there. No matter what type of content you're creating or
correct.
what your niche is, the more content that you post, the more engagement that you will get and the more your following will increase. And in turn, and so many more benefits to that than just making money in the Rose Play Bonuses
Right,
program. I always tell people think outside of the box. Yes, making money
absolutely.
with Rose Play Bonuses is, I mean, it's dope, to have that extra income. But if you thinking even bigger than that, then you're more than likely able to like have more opportunities gravitate towards you. Like there's
Absolutely.
so much networking that can be done on social media if you know how to leverage your platforms and you're really into it. So this reels is just like the gateway to like a
Absolutely.
whole lot of other stuff. So if you are watching right now, if you are tuning in, I hope you have your notepad. I hope you're taking a mental note and really just taking in these tips because Paul started off back in December with less than 300 followers, to be specific, 256, and now he is almost at 100,000 followers. Now, if you're doing the math like me, that's only a few months ago, and that's crazy. He hasn't been serial posting, but he has been posting consistently at least 5 to 6 times out of the week. And his content has got to be dope. Either making people laugh or just making people feel good.
Yeah,
And that's what keeps people coming back, and that's what makes people want to follow him, and that's how he got to this point right now. So you tuning in, you have any questions, because at the end we're going to open it up for a live Q&A. Make sure you drop them in the chat. And if you are tuning in from Facebook, I'll open it up for Facebook members today. This is going live in the group. and you want your name to be shown, you need to click the StreamYard key or you need to go over to YouTube. But Paul,
Yes,
wow,
ma'am.
wow. You're almost like social media famous with 100K followers now.
It's
I know
weird.
a lot of people want to know your following increased after you joined the Real Play Bonuses program, or was it before?
So right before I joined, so when I started posting reels, I was at 256. Around
Okay.
the time that I got invited into the reels, I was around 15, 16,000. So between a couple weeks, I went from 256 to 15. And then from the moment that I joined, I was at around 15,000, which was mid-December. And then here we are now. Actually, the exact number that I'm at right now, if y'all I'm at 99,755. So I'm 245 away from hitting 100,000 within a matter of 2.5 months. And I was just posting, being relatable, um, engaging super hard, just because again, I'm like, what's the point of being a content creator or a social media influencer if you can't engage with the people that basically put you where you're at? I'm like, that's almost like selfish in my eyes. So I'm like, it's interacting, even though they may think that I'm like this big hotshot, I'm regular. I'm nobody, outstanding. I put my pants on the same way just like anybody else. I'm like, but I'm like, I feel like engagement is key. And so
Yes.
my followers made me where I'm at this moment. And so it's only fair to interact with them and to have conversations with them, whether it's funny, serious. I like conversations. I like funny conversations. I like sports conversations, all kinds of stuff. So I'm here for it. So it's important to me. And so
I love
it
it. I feel like social media is just a place to showcase your talents, your skills, what you're doing, your personality, your character is literally like a spotlight. Just to be authentic and show who you are. So
yes.
I know one of the things that you are primarily about, well, one of your core values when it comes to posting content would be to keep it real, right? Real and funny.
I'm like, what? I'm like, yeah, I'm me. I'm like, I am who I am. God made me the way I am, and so I'm like, I'm a funny, crazy, outspoken kind of guy, but I'm not gonna be disrespectful in any way. But I'm gonna keep it me. I'm like, I am who I am, so this is what you're gonna get. You're either gonna like it or you're not. But apparently, I'm doing something right.
Yeah, we have someone who said you're an outstanding husband, father, toot your own horn. I know sometimes we can be humble. It's great to be humble, but also make sure you celebrate yourself. It is very important, because it takes a lot to stay motivated.
Yeah.
It takes a lot to stay consistent. It takes a lot to stay driven and to put yourself out there every day as a content creator. And so many people who are, shy away from getting in front of the camera or just not necessarily as confident, they second guess it and
Yeah.
everything. So I always say as content creators, we put ourselves out there on Front Street. So make sure you celebrate yourself. Make
My
sure you
wife tells me that all the time. She says,
celebrate.
"Don't be shy. You did this. Go. It's okay every now and then to feel good about yourself. Like
Yes.
you did this."
Yes. And that's why you came in the group announcing your win. Okay.
I'm like, this is a big win for me. I'm like, it's still it's still surreal to see these numbers and to see this is my life right now, and this is like it's just funny. Just maybe 6 months ago, we was talking about speaking this into existence, and it's like my wife gonna kill me for saying this, but it's okay. It's part of the story. She used to tell me, get off social media. You're gonna get in trouble, this and that, this and the third. This ain't what it is. I was like, no, babe, just wait. Just wait. And less than a year later, here we are. We done made it.
And that is
I just
awesome.
kept on.
That is awesome. One thing I do want to say, because I know some people who like post on social media that are married or are in a relationship, I always want to know, like, are some of the DMs that you're getting, are they like left field? Are they inappropriate? Or
A
is everything
couple.
PG?
There's been a
Like, let's
couple
let's
weird
keep it
ones.
real on this show.
There's been a couple of weird ones. They be like, "Ooh, your beard look real nice. I should come see it." I'm like, "Calm down. I got a whole wife." One dude the other day, I posted a video. It was earlier. I think it was something that had to do with my wife, and he was like, "You lucky you married, and she's taken by you." I'm like, "What that's
Oh
supposed to
Lord.
mean?"
Yeah, social media is crazy. So would you say
Crazy
you
stuff.
get more inappropriate comments and messages than like negative, like kind of like coming at you, attacking comments?
Um, I would say I get more encouraging than anything, or questions about how I did this and stuff like that, than any of these crazies. But then again, that it's still early in the game, so I don't know exactly what this year is gonna hold. But as of recent, since I've been in here, it ain't been nothing like crazy. It's more motivational stuff or questions, like people reaching out to me like, how did I do this? Or, can your wife sing here? Or, how to type questions versus any inappropriate, or just people coming with weird comments and questions.
Right. Well, hey, you gotta take the good with the bad, of course. It comes with, putting ourselves on Front Street in our personal life, you
Yeah.
showing your wife, you guys doing it together. Of course, that's letting people into your personal life. But at the same time, people probably gravitate towards you for that transparency, for that
Yeah.
realness, and for that collaboration that you guys do. So it all comes together. So I always tell everybody, be prepared, and
Yes.
it's just great that you're not really receiving any like negative ones, because there's people with less than 100,000 followers who are getting crazy off the wall, all types of like disrespectful comments. So trust me, even though you say you just started, you could have only a couple hundred followers and still receive some negative
Yes.
backlash. So that's good that you've been able to duck and dodge it.
Yeah.
I'll definitely say that. Now I know one of the things that everyone who is watching would like to know: how were your views like before the program? Like, were you posting reels at all? And if so, how was those views looking before you got into the program? And how are the views looking now?
So when I initially started posting reels, I would say once the following started to actually like take off and I got to
Mhm.
the thousands of followers, the views would be around like 10 to 15,000, 20,000 views a video that I would post. Um, uh, right before I got invited, it wasn't my video that it was. I tagged the person because it was an NBC video, but I tagged it on there, and that one blew up. I think right now it has like 16 million views on it. Uh, but my right when I got invited, that's when I started using my wife, or not using my wife, inviting my wife into my uh, Reels life, Facebook social media life, and her videos are pretty much the more dominant videos outside of the stuff that I post. Her views usually they average between 2 to 300,000 views. Her most viral one is at almost 500,000 views. Her singing "Mary Had a Little Lamb,"
Oh
uh,
wow, wow.
and so most on an average, I think when I started it, average videos outside of the viral ones, I would average between maybe 40 to 50,000 views a video at first. Um, some of them can get up to 100,000. And I've realized some videos are hits, some videos are misses, but you can't let those videos that don't take off right away to discourage yourself. Because I'm like, not everything is going to be appealing to everyone. And it's not to say that just because it didn't take off now, it's not going to take off later. Because there's been plenty of videos that I've posted that started off slow for weeks, and then after a month later, all of a sudden it's at 20,000 views, 40,000 views. So outside of engagement, don't give up on posting. You may have some slow days, slow weeks, but that's part of the game. It's part of the nature of social media. Some things people are drawn to, other things not so much. But don't
Yeah.
let that defeat you and make you think that, oh, it's been 2 weeks, it's not working. All right, it's over. I was like, no, you just got to keep posting. Be yourself. Keep posting what you're doing. I'm like, something's gonna take off, and you just got to be confident that in the content and the brand that you're posting and that you're putting out there, that it's going to be what people want to see, and you just can't just give up. I didn't give up. I wanted to give up. There was plenty of times in the last couple of months I wanted to give up, but I stood firm and I just kept pushing.
Yeah. And I think that's so important since the topic today is self motivation for creators. Of course, everyone is human. So we all experience that fear creeping in. But I
Mm-hmm.
always tell everyone it all comes down to how do you handle when fear starts to creep in? How do you react? Do you just give up or do you push through? And part of staying self motivated is being able to recognize it, but also being able to push through it and stay consistent and stay confident. Because if you don't believe in yourself and what you're doing, your brand, your business, if you're not that driving motivational force within, then it will be so hard for people to want to follow you, to want to buy from you. It'll
Yeah.
be easy though for them to discredit you or to scroll right on past you. So I do definitely want to stress that self motivation is key for any creator. You can't rely on anyone else to give you that push. I
Yeah.
mean, if you're married, that's a whole nother thing. Okay, if you're married, of course, you got a partner, and your partner should be supportive. And it's great if you guys can create content together. But for all the people that are watching who are not married, who don't have a support
Yeah.
system, yourself, you need to be that driving force that no matter what happens on the outside, no matter what negative comments, what backlash you receive, no matter what goes on in your life, you need to still be creating content. If you have a business, if you are just a creator, it doesn't matter. You
Yeah.
still need to be on social media because it's 2022. You're not posting content, you're leaving money on the table, guys. You're leaving money
Listen.
on the table. I can't
Listen.
stress it so much. So stay motivated, stay
Yeah.
consistent, don't give up, post consistently. If you have to, challenge yourself to go even harder because it's someone else out there that's posting, maybe have this a similar brand to you, maybe sell the same products. And if that person is posting, and then you go through something personally and take a break for like a month, maybe a
Ooh,
consumer that
that's
could
a
have bought
long time.
your product, right?
A
Maybe
long
a
time.
consumer that could have bought your product will end up buying the other person, your competitor, only because they see their post. Like on average, it takes someone, I've heard seven times to see something before they buy it. And even if it's not seven times, it still takes them more than once, usually more
Yeah.
than twice, more than three. Usually it takes me, me a lot. They'd be like, I'm like, dang, I like it, but I'm
Do I
busy.
want to get it?
I'm a busy person, so I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and buy that. And then I might forget, get sidetracked, get a client, do something else. But
Right.
come back the next day, I see your stuff. I'm like, dang, that really look good. That really look like it's gonna clear up my skin, but got sidetracked again. By the third, fourth, fifth time, more than likely, if I see that what you are posting will bring value to me, if you convince me through your
Right.
content, then I'm gonna go. I'm gonna buy, or I'm gonna see if this is something that I should invest in. I'm gonna at least research. So you want to at least get people researching into what you're doing.
Yeah.
And it doesn't just have to be products. Like Paul said, his wife sings. So I'm pretty sure people are seeing her sing Mary Had a Little Lamb. And they're like,
Yeah.
hey, dang, how can I get her to sing at my event, or how can I collaborate or anything?
Correct.
So it can be a service, it can be a product, it could be a natural God given gift, it could just be someone love your outfit and wants you to style them. It could just be anything. You
The
never know, the
simplest
sky is
thing.
the limit. Put yourself on Front Street and create the content, have the confidence, and stay consistent. Stay self motivated, guys. I just had to stress that.
I'm
I
like,
need
you couldn't have
to
said it any better. You
stress
couldn't have
that.
said it any better. I'm like, listen, if you can't love yourself, who gonna love you?
Right, right. If you can't keep yourself motivated, who's going to
I'm
believe it
like,
anyway? As it's a competitive industry out here,
yeah,
and it's so important to have that confidence. And I was just telling someone yesterday, if you are scared, if you are nervous, whatever you're scared to do, push through it. Even if you gotta fake the confidence, I don't at this point I don't care, as long as I can buy it. I mean, fake it till you make it, whatever
I'm
you gotta
glad you said that because my squad, when I was in the military, my squad leader was probably one of the most influential people I had while I was in the military, and he said, "Listen, we may not always have motivation, but fake motivation is better than no motivation."
exactly. And I haven't even been in the military.
So I'm like, you got to fake it till you make it, and so I'm like, and even like when I got out and I used to work at a call center, my trainer used to say they can hear if you're smiling through the phone. So I'm like, even if you got a fake smile while you're doing your content, that fake smile or fake laughter may bring laughter to somebody else, and you might have just saved somebody from having a bad. You just turn your day around just by watching a little clip, or you uh, suggesting, "Hey, get this." And you're like, "Yo, you just took their hand off something that did terribly wrong and switched their whole mindset and switched their whole day." I don't know how much social media is an impact, and if you're doing it for the right reasons, you can affect hundreds of people in the right way. But I'm like, I'm my own self motivation again. Outside of my wife and daughter, I motivate myself because again, I enjoy this. And like you said, self motivation, you got to push through it, through the fire, through the dirt. It's gonna be hard. It's trying to create content and stay consistent. It's not easy thinking up ideas or pushing stuff out there, but you got to push yourself. You got to push yourself, no matter what it is. Like you said, products, services, whatever the case may be. Somebody needs it.
Yeah.
Somebody wants it.
Right. And even if it's crazy, because it could just be what you're going through in life. It could just be your story, your transparency, your motivation that you're giving someone else. That stuff is just as valuable
Yeah,
nowadays as a product, as a service. Think about it. We're going through a pandemic, and even without a pandemic, there's plenty of people out here that need that type of content, or want to feel like they connected to someone, want to feel like
right.
they can relate to you.
Like
So being relatable sells, being transparent sells. So don't think if you don't have anywhere to start. I mean,
I'm
shoot, I
like,
don't care if you get on there and rant, as long as it's not crazy. But there's someone else that might be like, F it, I had a bad day
yeah,
too. My wig fell off yesterday too at the bus stop. I totally feel you. No, but seriously, like you never know.
like this. Speaking of transparency, I'm like, I think I've been more motivated these last 2 years because in 2019 I got sick, and I was in and out the hospital for almost a year. I almost died twice.
Oh my
Uh,
goodness.
I'm like, I've been through a lot from 2019 to 2020. You know what I'm saying? And most people, when they see me, they're like, "How are you still smiling? How are you still in this mood?" I'm like, "Listen, I'm here. I'm like, I got a second chance at life. You know, I was literally on death's bed, and I'm here. I'm like, I'm not about to waste it and be mad at somebody else that didn't do nothing to me. So I'm like, I'm happy. I'm breathing. I get breath in my lungs every day that I wake up. So why
Yeah.
not just put out hilarious content?" And my wife singing, I'm like, I'm blessed. I'm not gonna be mad at the world because the world didn't do nothing to me. So I'm just here. Listen, I've been through stuff. Everybody has their stories, and everybody's been through their ups and downs. But if you can make somebody's day by pushing out some content, why not? And then
Yeah.
at the same time, if you're able to do it and get paid for it, why not?
Yeah.
You
I would
know?
definitely agree. And thank you so much for sharing that, because there's people out here who make excuses. Who make excuses. Let's not make excuses, guys. Everyone has a story. Everyone has been through something. They might not have almost died like you, which is crazy. And I'm glad that you're still here.
God bless
But
you.
if you could almost die, then you can definitely stop making excuses and post your content. And you just never know, because for me, laughter is therapy, for therapeutic, for to be able to make other people laugh, and just the DMs that I receive, because I do a lot of motivational content too, along with like business tips and stuff. So the type of content that I post, even if I don't have 100,000 followers, I
Right.
know that will come. I'm confident, so I know that will come. That doesn't phase me. But what fulfills me, what fills my spirit, what makes my soul feel good,
Yeah.
is being able to motivate and uplift others, guys. So that alone is therapeutic, especially for anyone who has been through any type of trauma. So I do think that goes kind of like hand in
Yeah.
hand, because some people kind of like miss that part, whereas though you can actually use creating content to be an outlet for you, like for like the things that you have been through.
Yeah.
Or even if you're not like necessarily posting directly about it, it's still like the pushback, the what you get out of it, how you feel.
Yeah.
Thinking of it, people laugh. I mean, that's a reward within itself to me. Everything is not monetary. Some stuff is even more valuable than
Yeah.
that. So if you can motivate people, if you can make people feel good, if you can uplift them, change how their day is going, like, it's so
That's
crazy the
enough for me.
power of it.
That's enough for me. If I can make somebody's day, even if that video only gets like 10 views, but it helped two people change their day or their week, I'm perfectly fine with that. That's my father-in-law. Sorry. But yeah,
Oh, okay.
I got my
Hey, father-in-law.
I got the
A
whole
lot of
family in here.
supporters on here. You have a lot of supporters, and that's what someone else said too. You do have a lot of
Yeah.
supporters.
I'm like it's the money's great. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm like it's I don't know, it's an internal thing when you can make somebody's day or see somebody smile, it gives you them little goosebumps, like, yeah, look at him just laughing. And then when people start to share your content because it makes them laugh and it makes other people laugh, and you see how impactful it is to other people, I'm like, you can't beat that kind of emotion, that kind of feeling.
Yeah.
I'm like, it feels good inside.
Yep, I would definitely agree. Now, I know one of the things is that the group is meant to be a support system within itself, a way to like network and kind of network, get answers, and just kind of collaborate with other creators and entrepreneurs. Would you say that the Real Talk Business and Motivation Group has played a role in just
Oh,
keeping you motivated?
yeah, I would say 100,000%. Like, uh, especially when you see other people in the group show their growth and show their accomplishments, no matter how small or big it is. It's like everybody is here for everybody. We're all meant to uh, push, and to see everybody push everybody and nobody really like beat anybody down. It's like, oh, okay, these people here are genuinely just good people, and so it definitely helps me want to keep posting and sharing and engage with their videos and engage with their audience, because it's like, you guys got some interesting people too, just like me.
Right.
And so it's a very good place since I've joined. And like, I joined maybe like a week or two after, no, maybe like a week after I got invited into the program, and it's been beneficial since day one. And I'm like, I enjoy the people there. Like, it's fun to be in that group. It's funny stuff. We look out for each other. We make sure that we're not all getting, because there's some special people out there that trying to bamboozle us, and we're looking out for each other to make sure that we're on the right track. And then, those people that need that little motivation, we're able to give them that motivation from. We don't even know each other from Adam, but we give each other support and love, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. The teamwork is definitely phenomenal, and I just love how even when I'm not available, there's always someone else willing to answer a question. So if you're in the group right now and you're watching, thank you for being a part of the team. And I appreciate you. And thank you, Paul, for sharing that. Now, if you're just tuning in, I do want to recap what we have been talking about. I have Paul here, who is a content creator. He is also a gamer. We haven't even got into that. And he's an Army vet. Just in December, he had only 256 followers on Facebook, and now today he is almost at 100,000 followers. And if you're doing the math, that is a short amount of time for such a substantial increase in following in general. So please, if you're watching this, let's get him up to 100,000, guys. Oh, I'm going to be dropping his information in the description for you guys can follow him on Facebook and support, and definitely support. And if you're watching right now, make sure you subscribe and turn your post notifications on. I go live every Tuesday at 8 p.m. with a special guest that comes on, shares their motivational story, their tips and tricks, and how they have been monetizing and leveraging their social media. So if you're trying to get into Rose Play bonuses, or if you're just trying to hit your sweet spot with leveraging social media or building your business, you definitely want to just take notes. And if you haven't caught the past episodes, definitely catch up, because what works for one person might not work for the next. So the goal with bringing guests on is for you guys to get insight from each and every one, and kind of take what works and take what doesn't, and kind of test around, because this is all meant to be a team effort and a way for you guys can put the pieces of the puzzle together and figure out how you can get your following to increase too, and how you can make more money on social media, be able to build your brand, your business, get new clients, new customers. So that is the goal. So I definitely want to say, make sure you are subscribing, because this is my only time probably going live in the group, because I do want to continue to build my YouTube.
Let's get it.
One of the things that I do want to get into and ask you is, I know your following has increased substantially, and you have been in the Reels Play Bonuses program. Now, are you able to give some type of rough estimate on how well you are doing? Like, are you maximizing? Are you halfway there? I mean, what is it looking like for
So I
Paul?
haven't hit the max yet, as of yet.
Okay.
I've been close. I would.
Ooh, close. How close we talking now? On here, we keep it real on this show. We call it real talk.
I would say I've probably gotten towards there twice. Um, so I would say average. If I had to put everything as an average, I would say between 13, 15 a month.
Okay. Okay.
On an average. So it ain't like money, but it's still
It's
a
still
life changing
something.
amount.
It's still something. So even if you're making, because you're saying about $1,350 a month on average.
No.
13,000.
Maybe.
Okay, Paul. That is good. You said like 1350, like it was only like 1,350.
No,
But
man.
that is not just extra income. For some people, that's enough for them to be able to pay all their bills. And be able to do a lot with it. So I did want the people who are watching or catching the recap to know that if you stay consistent and you post reels, that there is, some monetary benefit into it. And we're not just talking about coins. We're not just talking about a little change in your pocket. It's pretty much a substantial amount right now if you post consistently, guys, and don't
you
quit.
still got to realize there's going to be weeks that it's slow, but don't give up. Keep posting, listen, you may have 1 month where it's this little, and then your next month might just take off. So,
Yeah.
me personally, whether I get $500, $5,000, 35,000, it doesn't matter. All this is still just an extra source of funds that I get to help my family with. So I'm not
Right.
going to be upset with any amount that I receive from the bonus reels because one, this was an unexpected thing. So it's not something that I'm just going to uh, depend on, if that makes sense. I'm not going to quit my job. If I had a job, I wouldn't be quitting my job. I'm like, hey, yo, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm not. We ain't there yet. Now, once I get, like maybe some YouTube money, maybe we might bring up the topic. But I'm like, right now, I'm having fun with it. I'm enjoying it, and so that's where we're at right now. My wife is definitely, again, my biggest supporter. Like, I couldn't do any of this, whether she was in the videos or not. I couldn't do any of this without her and my family, my brothers, my sisters, my in-laws. Like, with everything that I've gone through, to have them support me and push me and keep like, hey, you got this, you got this. I'm like, I got a little village, and I'm like,
And
it's
that's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. That's awesome. It's always great to have supportive people in your circle, guys. And even if you don't have those supportive friends and family around you, remember social media can also be used as networking. So if you're someone like me, who doesn't have a lot of supportive people around, I create my own. I create my own. There is no way that I'm not going to be able to network with like-minded individuals when we have social media. And I've always been a type of person that think outside the box. So if you're watching and if you don't have a support system, you need to be thinking outside the box too.
yeah,
There's no reason. And even if you do, your network is your network. I always say that. So networking, regardless, you should be doing as a content creator, as an entrepreneur, because then you're able to constantly build your audience, build your target audience,
yeah.
guys. Because most of the time, it's not your friends and your family that's going to make you a millionaire. Or I'm just saying, for real,
I'm like,
they are
I know
going to be
for
the
me,
ones that support you. Are
like for
you?
me and my family, we are talented individuals. Like, I do what I do. My wife sings, so that's her. My brother, he sings. My sister, she's artistic, like her brain is built different when it comes to stuff. My little sister, she's just one of the most intelligent human beings that I've ever met in my life. My brother-in-law, he is a motivational speaker. I don't care what he say. My sister-in-law, she's a life coach. She can motivate you to
Oh,
do.
wow.
So I'm like, if you were to meet our family, I'm like, you'd be like, yo, there's too much talent going on around here. And it's like, for me, I was kind of like a late bloomer. I'm just here now, but to still see my family and seeing what they're capable of doing, it's like, yo, I could be like them now. Like, we all in the same boat, for real, for real. Like, we all got our little niche, and we're gonna build something again together as a family, so that way our kids are set, so they can have their legacy to have to their kids. And so it's not just about me. It's a collective, and so I'm just happy
That's
to be a
dope.
part of the group. You know what
That's
I'm
dope.
saying?
And that just brings me to another thing. You never know when you're going to take off. And that is as far as anything. That's as far as your business, your brain. You never know. Everything happens in divine timing. So some people can be stagnant for
Yeah,
like years and then just be able just to snap
here it
out of
is.
it, or it's their time now. It's their time now. So now everything in their life is going to the next level. So I do want to say everything definitely happens in divine time, and it's not because that you didn't pop off back then because you wasn't where you needed to be,
Right.
but it's just because it was meant to happen when it happened. Because I know a lot of people be getting discouraged and be like, why am I not seeing the results, or why why haven't I been able to tap
Right.
into my gifts, my talents? And it's because it wasn't your time. It wasn't your time back then. Maybe you didn't have the self motivation that you needed. Maybe your mindset wasn't where it's supposed to be in order for you to get to the next level. But one thing I can say, if you start getting self motivated, and self awareness is very important too,
Yeah.
because there's no way you can really tap into those gifts, those talents, which you're really great at if you're not self aware.
This is very true. Very,
So,
very true.
as I want to ask you, before you started creating content, had anyone like pointed that out to you before? Like, hey, like Paul, you're a funny person, or hey, Paul, like anything like that, or was
My
it
whole
just like
family.
you? Okay, okay, there we
But
go.
I was always, as weird as this may sound, I've always been a shy person. So it was, I'm shy, but I'm not shy. And my wife, she'll tell you I'm probably the funniest person she ever met, and it's a lie because that's her. Um, but I'm just me. I don't know what else to be but me, and it's just sometimes I say things that are just like off the wall, and they be funny, and people just, as my wife say, they dying laughing. She dying. She laughing so hard.
I'm done. I'm done. But one thing I can say is that it's such a joy being able to do what you love and what you're naturally good at, and be able to impact others' lives and also make money off of it. And the reason that I asked you that is because that's kind of part of where it comes to self-awareness, because I always tell people, like, okay, you can become an expert in something, you can go
Yeah,
to school for something, yes, 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 you can do that and make money doing it, but what are the things that you're naturally good at? And sometimes we're focused on one thing, or we have
yeah,
our mind like one track, and we're not really active listening to the people around us. So um you could be having all your eggs in one basket, and somebody comes to you and say, hey, listen, I would pay you just to motivate me on a weekly basis. And you're like, what the
for what?
hell? i'm
Who you
i'm
talking
trying to
to?
i'm trying to sell body oils or something. I don't know, whatever you're doing, like, it could just be something like that. So I always tell people, like, pay attention to what people say you're good at, and what your natural talents is, because a lot of times people can pick up on things that you haven't even tapped into yet.
This is true.
So that can go for your friends, your family, and that can definitely still go for people that don't even know you.
Yeah,
It's crazy, especially when your following increase. And I think I got into like doing more so like motivational stuff because of the reach that I received, the
yeah,
feedback that I had received from it. And it was just something that I was naturally doing, just motivating people, just trying to help people. And everyone was like, hey, well, you should really stick to this. And I'm just like, I do this in my regular life, but now I'm just doing it more so on social media. But uh,
yeah,
okay, I understand what you guys are saying. So it's sort of like that. So if you're watching right now, you stuck right now, you don't know what your niche is, you have no idea what type of content to create, I would definitely say pay attention to what others say, like what other people are telling you that you're good at, and not just
yeah,
necessarily X, but it could just be some random conversation. Like, just reflect back on those things and try to tap into that and see if that's something that you would enjoy, like creating your content around. Because more than likely, it's going to be the easiest thing for you to do. You don't have to like really research or
yeah,
study something that you're naturally good at. And when you create content that you love, you're more likely to stay consistent, you're more likely to stay self-motivated. Like, if I was creating content on fixing cars, I probably would not be passionate about it. I don't know, that's really like off the wall, but my point is, like, make sure the content that you're creating you're passionate about.
yeah.
So, guys, we are about to wrap it up. If you have any more questions, please drop them in the chat now. Paul is crushing it in Facebook Rose Play bonuses. He was trying to be humble, but we got it out of him. His following has increased substantially, and he is making a great amount in Rose Play bonuses. We're talking about probably averaging around 13K a month, guys. So if you have any questions that me or Paul can answer, make sure you drop them in the chat. And I'm just going to scroll through now. I'm not sure if you can see your comments too, Paul, but we've been doing pretty good answering questions as we went today. So I'm not sure if there will be much. There's a lot of accolades in here, though. Definitely.
I don't know what you mean.
Let's see. Oh, what is your, well, we pretty much went over like the number one tips: posting 5 to 6 times a week, staying consistent, staying self-motivated. Is there any other tips that you can think of at the top of your mind for creators right now who are struggling, that don't have that motivation and don't have a whole bunch of talented people and family around them?
I know people say that, don't take other people's content, and I'm not saying to steal content, because I want you always want to give credit to where credit is due, especially if you're using somebody else's idea. But you can always manipulate or adjust it or get an idea from something and change it up to make it unique to yourself. So you just got to, again, find that niche, like you said. You just got to find what's good for you, and stick to it. And again, don't get complacent, stay consistent, and don't lose the sight of why you started this in the first place, and use that as your why. Why did I start this? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing what is the reason why I started this? And I'm like, remind yourself, okay, I'm having a slow week. I didn't get to post as much today or this week. So next week, I'm going to make sure that I'm posting more than what I did last week. I was busy, or I just got in a funk. All right, you had your moment. Get up and get to it. Again, okay. I'm like, money is not going to be made by you sitting down doing nothing. You have to do something.
Or at least record yourself doing
I'm like, and even if you record something and you don't post it down, save it as a draft. Post it tomorrow. Okay, you didn't have time to post today. Okay, make sure tomorrow that you have time to post something, even if it's just one time. Build yourself up. If you can only post once a day, okay, make that a goal, at least once a day for a few weeks. And once you see that starts to be something, okay, maybe I can bump it up 2 or 3 days out the week. I could post an extra video on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'll post 2 videos. Or whatever days. See the days that you have the most free time, make those days dedicated to posting and editing and pushing content, whether it's something that's you posted last week that you think might have not have gotten the amount of views, okay, reshare it. Tag people in it. I'm like, you have the tools and the resources on your phone, your laptop, so there's no excuse to not be able to post at least once a day. And if you're not, something happens, okay, move it on to the next day, but don't get down on yourself because it's like these last 2 weeks have been poo. I can't do this anymore. No.
Right.
If you ask any person that's been successful, a millionaire, billionaires, I bet you they got a whole bunch of failing stories that they can tell you, but they still made it somehow, some way.
I agree, and it all comes down to not quitting, guys. I mean, if you're trying to be successful, how will you reach the next level if you quit? You won't even get to the finish line.
Yeah.
So thank you for bringing that up. And one of the last questions that I have for you is about gaming. Okay, because I know I put that you were a gamer. So how long have you been gaming? I know you do it on Twitch. Are you making money gaming too, or is that just like something that you love to do?
I started to do it just because I was bored last summer, and surprisingly enough, my wife is the one that convinced me to do it. She said, "You're funny." I'm like, "You interact." I'm not the greatest gamer, but the point of my channel anyway is the interaction with my chat. I'm like, I'm hilarious. I am what I am. And um I do get paid off it. It's not anything serious right now because I only have like 250 followers on Twitch. I'm still growing that. It's a slow process, but I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I'm getting equipment to make my streams better. I've learned over the last 6 months that you got to invest in your, and that sometimes means you got to invest in certain type of equipment to make your brand
Yeah.
better. Because yeah, you could start off with the low stuff and the basic stuff, and that's great, but after a while you're going to have to invest in yourself to make your brand look better, to stand out, to make it more appealing to the consumer, I guess you could say. And so it's been a process, but it's getting there. It's getting better. I love playing video games. I play Call of Duty. I play NBA 2K. I play all kinds of games. I suck at all of them, but good at all of them. If that makes sense. I have
I'm
fun.
dead. I'm
I'm
dead.
not. I'm not here. Listen, I'm not here to be a specialist. I'm here to have fun. I'm like, games are meant to have fun. I'm not here to be stressed. I'm here to have fun with my guys, especially when we're playing Call of Duty. Me and my guys will be on there. We just be fooling around, and it's a video game. I'm like, it's nothing to be stressed about. So,
Right.
and
Gaming is meant to be fun. Of course, it's people are really into gaming, so it can get
fun,
competitive.
right?
But one of the things you mentioned is investing in yourself, like you're investing in equipment. Now, I want to ask you, like, with the extra money that you have received from Rose Play bonuses, have you been able to make any special purchases? Have you just reinvested back into yourself? Have
I
you did
did.
something that you always wanted to do? Like,
So after I think January, because money gives me anxiety. I'm just gonna put it out there. It gives me anxiety, but my wife has definitely helped me with that. I was able to buy a new MacBook, a better
mm,
MacBook. I
that's a
bought a
great
mic.
investment.
Yeah, I bought a better ring light.
Okay.
I brought a mic stand. I'm gonna in the next coming weeks. I'm gonna buy the mic, interface, everything. I'm basically building myself a studio for me and a studio for my wife, so she could sing and we can post stuff.
Awesome.
So it's not just for me. It's and my daughter. She has her own little YouTube channel. So I'm investing
The
in
whole
all.
family. You wasn't
Listen,
playing when you said the whole family was
listen.
talented. I love it.
So I'm investing not just in myself with equipment. I'm making sure the equipment that I get to use is something that my daughter and my wife as well can use. So listen, we trying to be our own bosses at the end of the day, and
I
I'm
love
like,
it.
and so investing in yourself, not just monetarily, but time as well. You got to invest in yourself. You got to make sure you're well taken care of, not just physically, mentally, spiritually. It's all got to go from head to toe, and so uh, I'm investing in myself.
I
My
love it.
and so I'm buying equipment. It's helped. The Facebook Reels has definitely allowed me to get the equipment that I need, not just to make my reels better, but to also make the other avenues that I'm trying to make a finance better as well. So I'm able to bring in multiple streams of income into my family outside of my wife bringing multiple incomes of income. And then my daughter gonna have her own money. Yeah, so
Hey, I love it. I love it. I'm all down for getting the kids into it too. I know I definitely had my son getting into it. He's even behind the camera recording my footage. or
gotta
he
put them to work.
or he's hopping in my videos, and I definitely would say we pave the way for kids.
Yes.
They learn based off what we do. So if they see us being a boss and making our own money, then more than likely they're going to want to hop in too. And so
Listen, she got a savings account already. She got like a good $200-300 that she saved herself from tooth
okay, that's
fairy money,
these
birthday
kids.
money. Like she
These
got
kids are
money.
financially like they come with like tech savvy,
They
and
born
they come
different.
with like a financial like I don't know intuition. They just know to save. It's
They born
crazy.
with a 401k as soon as they come out the womb.
It's definitely crazy. But I just want to say thank you so much for coming on the show. Shout out to your talented family.
Thank you. Thank
Um,
you.
everything that you shared is really dope. I haven't had anyone that promoted their family as much as you promoted your family. Um, But it's so awesome to just hear that aspect and just get that kind of like insight into your personal life, and the type of community that you have around you.
Yeah.
The fact that your friends and your family is supportive and everyone is talented, and the fact that you're not like just wasting your Rose Play bonuses money, you're taking that money and reinvest it not only in yourself but also into others around you. I think that's really dope. You're really a humble guy. But if you are just tuning in now, you need to go ahead and rewind this once we get off
Yes. Yes.
and watch, because Paul right here has been able to gain 100,000 followers in just a few months. I'm talking 256 followers back in December to 100K, and been able to rack in an average of 13K a month in Reels Play bonuses. He's also working on other streams of income. He's also helping others around him work on other streams for their self too. So if you guys were tuning in, you see Paul is a super talented individual, and his family around him helps him as well as he helps
Yes.
them. So thank you so much, Paul, for coming
Thank
on the
you.
show. It has been a pleasure to have you. Thank you for sharing your story, getting personal. About your hospital journey, and letting other creators know about that self motivation and those tips and insight that you have shared. So if you are tuning in and you haven't been taking mental notes, I hope you rewatch this and actually figure out what works for you. Because
Yes,
what works
ma'am.
for Paul, little bits and pieces from Paul might work from you for you. But if you catch up on the past episodes as well, you'll be able to kind of get insight from many different creators who are successful in the Reels Play Bonuses program, and being able to build their brand along with other stuff that they are doing. So we are going to wrap it up, but I will be live again next Tuesday at 8 p.m., and that is Eastern Standard Time. Thank you so much, Paul, for coming on. I don't know if there's anything else that you want to say, because you said a lot, but if there's anything else that you want to
No,
say, feel free.
I said everything I need to say. I'm just glad that I was able to come on here. Thank you again for letting me be on your show and giving me the opportunity to share my story. I thank you a lot.
Thank you, and it's always a pleasure when like-minded people actually link up and help build each other up. So thank you so much, Paul. And if you are in the group, I'll see you in the group. But if
Yes,
not,
ma'am.
I gotta go.
All
See you
right.
next Tuesday.